Alright everyone, I'm Lizzie Nopo, and welcome back to another episode of Life is Strange Journal Entries. Today we're going to be reading the journal entries from Episode 3, Chaos Theory. As per usual, this will contain major spoilers for the episode, so if you have not watched the Episode 3 Chaos Theory episodes that are uploaded, I would go back and watch those now. But, without further ado, I'm going to just, well, not shut up and get into it, but I'm going to start reading and get into it. October 9th. Dear Diary, I have the power to rewind time, and I ended up on a rooftop trying to stop my friend from jumping off while trying to prevent the possible destruction of my hometown. I fell asleep at my desk and woke up reaching out to rewind. Or grab Kate. I remember when my journal entries were about which anime character I wanted to be. Or my dreams of being a respected globe-hopping photographer. Or what me and Chloe would be doing when we were finally adults. At least we know how that turned out so far. Chloe's determined to get to the bottom of what's going on, so I've been playing What Would Chloe Do? Which means blowing off my Blackwell homework to research everything I can find on Kate Marsh, Rachel Amber, and the esteemed Prescotts. It would be too easy peasy if they were all connected, but at this point, I think the whole town of Arcadia Bay is connected to this crazy shit. I can already see the story on the National Geographic Channel. Mystic, scientific, or apocalyptic. The Arcadia Bay tornado. Speaking of fear, I still think about Kate and the sadness in her eyes on that roof. I'm so grateful she's alive. I love seeing the students at Blackwell show their support for her with gifts and flowers. Finally. At least I feel better now that Nathan is suspended. It's good he's off campus for a few days. I hope. And like I give a shit if the Prescott family sends a team of lawyers after me. Please. I doubt they would like all the publicity. I doubt their tentacles reach into the rest of Oregon. Not yet, anyway. Leave it to Chloe to make me sneak out past curfew and demand I meet her in front of the main building in the dead of night. I knew Chloe would be all over investigating the campus after what happened to Kate here. This just makes Chloe more desperate to find out what happened to Rachel, if anything. It's funny that even though I think I can just rewind myself out of trouble, I'm in more trouble now than ever before in my life. If this were a Twilight Zone story, I'd be getting set up for some serious irony. Like I'm gonna rewind myself out of existence or something. Can I honestly say I'll have this ability for the rest of my life? Are the tornado, the snow, and that eclipse just hallucinations, or are they genuine prophecy? More importantly, is this a curse or a blessing? Chloe is alive and by my side, and that has to be a miracle, which means there must be a way to stop my vision from coming true. Right? So, yes, I broke curfew to hook up with Chloe. She said she had something to show me. Looks like it's time for some serious detective work. Enter the Blackwell Ninjas! As I stealthily made my way out of the hall, I passed by Kate's door and saw all the nice messages from other students. Too bad most of Blackwell didn't care when they passed around the video and bullied her to that roof. Everybody always cares when it's too late. At least Kate will see that people are on her side. Finally. I hope I can visit her when all of this blows over. Maybe that's not a good choice of words. Damn, that was too close. I was doing so well until I got outside and, of course, it was Principal Wells of all people blocking the way. The one person I least wanted to see. I wasn't ninja enough for him, so yeah, he busted me. But I finally got to see that the gossip was true for a change. Principal Wells was shit-faced. He didn't even try to hide it. In fact, he was a lot cooler drunk than sober. I can see why he's so confused, dealing with Kate's family and the Prescotts and David Madsen. He still acts suspicious and gives me way too much tood, as he would say. Nobody says that, seriously. But I can see that he's under a lot of pressure. So much that he's so wasted that he can't even use his keys at midnight. Sure, he was in my way, but he was no match for my rewind power. After all, I had to go and meet Chloe. Bad Max. Even though I thought I was in full ninja mode, Chloe still scared the shit out of me. Which pissed me off considering what I've been going through. Sometimes she's so damn insensitive to other people's feelings. She wants all my attention for her and finding Rachel, and gets all butthurt if I don't have time for her. Obviously, I have time in hand. But I can't stay mad at her for long, and she was so damn excited about having the keys to the main building, and honestly, I was pretty amped up too. Even more so when we went to the front of the building and spied on Victoria talking smack about me. Shocked. And worse, actually trying to blackmail Mr. Jefferson to pick her photo for the Everyday Heroes contest. She is freaking unreal. I give Mr. Jefferson major respect for telling her to get lost, even though she deserved to be expelled for pulling that crap. This is her priority after what happened with Kate? I just don't understand Victoria, no matter how I try. She's already rich, pretty, and a good photographer. Why try so hard and hurt so many to manipulate everything already in your favor? I just hope that's not what I'm doing with my rewind power. Yes, there's something incredibly awesome about breaking into your own school at the witching hour. Although Chloe was technically right, how can we break in with a key? Never mind that it was a stolen key from the school's head of security. Anyway, the Blackwell ninjas strike again. So cool to stalk the halls when it's dark and quiet. Even with so many terrible things happening all around us, it felt like Chloe and I were walking towards the center of a great cosmic mystery, something bigger than any of us. But we kinda suck as master spies since we didn't have a key for the principal's office. No worries with my rewind power at hand. And, of course, Dr. Warren Graham. He came through with a bitchin' mini-bomb made of sodium what the fuck ever. I probably learned more putting those ingredients together than the entire semester so far. Sorry, Miss Grant. Warren is the star student here. He tries so hard to help. Maybe too much, but what's wrong with that these days? I'm so grateful he's on my team. Talk about being in the Sancto Sanctorum. Thanks, Latin class I barely passed. Of Blackwell. I did feel freaking weird about being in the principal's office after midnight, going through his files and laptop with Chloe. She was way too into it. Technically, we could be arrested and thrown in jail. Yikes. I just pretended that we were on a very special episode of The Wizards of Waverly Place. You know, just a couple of wacky Sherlocks investigating the school for a good cause. Yeah, that helped. While we didn't find the proof, we found Nathan's file had a weird drawing in it that just said Rachel in the dark room over and over. So that's a major clue that Nathan is involved in this somehow. Or he's just insane. But his note also referenced David M., which means that we absolutely have to find a way into David's secret bunker files for a good cause. But Chloe just can't help herself, and she actually wanted to take $5 grand in cash marked handicap fund. Cause that's gotta be legit, am I right? I can't think of a faster route to karma, hell. But it would have paid off Chloe's debt to Frank. I stopped her, but it kinda bothers me that Chloe can be so selfish like that. I'm not gonna let anything happen to her, but I can't just let her do anything she wants. Mad Max? More like Mommy Max. Despite all the usual breaking in and blowing up office hijinks, Chloe decided what we needed more than anything was to take a night swim in the Otter's Lair. I was so giddy and rebellious that I was like, oh yes, we shall swim. We didn't completely skinny dip, but close enough to get in big trouble no matter what. I don't know why we were so careless after being so careful. I love that Chloe brings out the just don't give a fuck side of me, even if that hasn't always served her well. She deserved a moment of not giving a shit. Me too. Just two friends goofy around in the pool. I fear those youthful shenanigans might soon be a thing of our past. God, I'm starting to sound like one of the teachers at Blackwell. Chloe and I had a nice chat about our lives since I left. We talked about dumb boys and girls and why they're trouble, especially for me. I feel like a groupie when I talk to Chloe about our life experience. She has me so beat. I take pictures, she takes action. Speaking of action, we had to seriously bounce when security showed up. Duh, how quiet could we be in a swimming pool? Plus, after leaving a trail of our Blackwell handiwork, it was so intense and exciting to get past the security guards. They had serious spotlight power, so it wasn't exactly easy to stealth our way past, especially as we had to bail in Chloe's junker. But like I said, intense and exciting. Hella like Chloe Price. Even though my body smelled like I had been doused in chlorine, it was so nice to crash in Chloe's room for the first time in 5 years and wake up next to her like our old sleepovers. For some reason, it reminded me of the time we were going to TP one of the neighbors' houses, and we even snuck out, but got chicken and ran back home, laughing all the way. I remember waking up the next day, and Joyce was making one of her delish breakfasts downstairs. and Chloe smiled at me like we were in the most secret club in the world. Or at least Arcadia Bay. We were pirates, damn it! After our academic espionage last night, I felt the same way. It's just that now the stakes are much higher and much more dangerous. I even ended up in some of Rachel Amber's clothes, since mine were trashed. A band tee and ripped jeans. So not me. But I haven't found my style yet, so why not have some fun experimenting with a new outfit? Speaking of experiments, Chloe dared me to kiss her. So I did. She probably thought I'd wuss out. Why? It wasn't that big of a deal. Though it was cute the way she was kind of embarrassed after and said she'd tell Warren. Besides, I think Chloe sees Rachel Amber in her future. When I went down to breakfast, Joyce actually called me Rachel, which just seems so wrong considering how beautiful she is and how boring I am. I guess my new outfit really is working its magic. I ended up helping Joyce make breakfast, just like when I was a kid on a sleepover. It's odd how quickly you can fall back into an old routine. So I must have set off Joyce's nostalgia mode since she busted out ye old photo album. I'm one of the few people who loves checking out old pictures. What was that Alfred Hitchcock line about film being pieces of time? Like Mr. Jefferson said, so are photographs. I do think she wanted me to see her new husband in a better light. When David was happy or laughing with Joyce in a picture, I wanted to say, and who is that? Plus, I'm sure it's no accident that there was a photo of Rachel wearing the exact same clothes I had on. She truly is stunning, and somehow looked more punk rock than Chloe. The truly heartbreaking image was the last photo William Price ever took. Chloe and I making pancakes in the kitchen. Joyce really misses that joyful, optimistic girl. I know she's still there. When Chloe smiled at me this morning, I saw her. The picture seemed to sum up everything we had as children and lost as adults, whatever being an adult means. Which was a perfect cue for Chloe to bounce into the room and start shit with Joyce. This gave me cruel cover so I could sneak into the garage and finally unlock David Madsen's extreme files. So today I finally found out what was in David's secret files, and I admit, I expected it to be worse. I'm relieved that it wasn't, so maybe I'm going easier on him than I should. No surprise that he had detailed files on Kate and Rachel, listing their whereabouts along with surveillance pics. David isn't off my shit list yet, but he's a damn good investigator, I'll give him that. It's clear that Frank and Rachel had some kind of relationship. And I don't think Chloe is going to be very happy to hear that. She needs to start waking up. We all do. When David came home, things escalated quickly. He looked more upset than usual, but shrugged when he saw me wearing Rachel's clothes. He was so on edge. Maybe I'll never get to see the David that Joyce loves so much. She and Chloe really let him have it, though. This was the first time I saw them bond since we were kids. But my spidey sense told me that David needed somebody to defend him, even just this once. I just don't feel that we have enough proof to really blame him for everything. Yes, he's a harassing bully with a surveillance fetish, but he seems to be gathering information for his own investigation. The mystery story side of me appreciates that, and hopes we can use his research to buffer our own. Despite David's evidence and the bracelet, Chloe refused to believe Rachel was involved with Frank. This is a part of Chloe I don't much like. She gets so damn petulant if she doesn't get her way, or if she hears something she doesn't like. Serious denial. I get why, but that doesn't make dealing with it any easier. So I threw my hands up and suggested we check out Frank's RV. I knew that would piss Chloe off, and she would do anything to find out what kind of relationship he had with Rachel. But first we had to get the damn keys to the RV, which meant going into the Two Whales diner and bouncing like a rewind pinball between Frank, Nathan Prescott, and Officer Barry, and fucking with all of them. I'm still dizzy thinking about how I pulled it off. Yay for Max! Sometimes I feel like I'm just cheating at life. The first thing we had to do was get Frank's scary dog out of the RV. So we did the classic cartoon give a dog a bone routine, and Cujo became Scooby-Doo just like that. Frank's RV was pretty much what I expected. Drug dealer, trash chic. But it wasn't as serial killer as I feared. We ransacked the place and found what Chloe didn't want us to find. I'm sorry Chloe had to see the pictures of Rachel posing for Frank, even if she did care about him. To her, it's just another betrayal, just another loved one dumping on her. Everybody she ever loved, she lost one way or another. Only I came back from her past. For what? To make Chloe's life more painful? I just wish I could use my Reline power to go all the way back to the days when we were covered in pancake flour. Life was simple. And that concludes the journal entries for episode 3, Chaos Theory. If you enjoyed this, please let me know with a like and a comment down below. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in episode 4, Dark Room. Bye!